Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, and I'm delighted to be joined with Kimberly with her fantastic film, Punk is Punk. Let's take a look at the clip.
What?
Matildita, mira qué grandota estás, y eres toda una señorita.
Papá, no puedes llegar nada más así, como si nada. Ha pasado casi un año.
La Gloria hubiera querido que tuvieras una quinceañera.
¿Olin va a ser permitido venir a la fiesta y agarrarme de la mano?
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bringing your amazing film on so many levels that I can't wait to talk about. But for those that haven't seen your film, tell us the brief synopsis.
Sure. Punk is Punk is about Ofe, who's a genderqueer punk rocker mom, basically bringing their kids up. They use both they and she pronouns. They bring their kids up in a very alternative lifestyle, and the peacefulness of their home is kind of intruded upon when their estranged father, who's very old school and has a lot of internalized homophobia, steps back into the scene. And it turns out Don Jorge has been communicating with Ofe's kids, their two daughters, this whole time, despite the fact that they've been estranged since the grandmother, Nana Gloria's funeral, because of the way that he treated Olin, the partner of Ofe, the main character. And so the character's daughter, Matilde, wants to have a quinceañera to sort of fulfill the grandmother's wish, who had passed away. And Matilde orchestrates communication with the grandfather once again, and it kind of comes down to Ofe working through their discomfort with the grandfather being back into their lives.
It's a really, really amazing family, an amazing story, an amazing kind of close-up on reality of their lives as well. I love that we're immediately kickstarted with amazing punk music from the get-go, which we're all like, was so beautiful to see on the big screen, particularly within this family as well. Where did the inspiration come for you in deciding to turn this, wonderful idea into a film?
Yeah, well, I did cast an actual family.
Amazing. I mean, I think that's phenomenal.
It's my friends who I met through ceremony, my dear friends, chosen family, and I was inspired by them. I decided I really wanted to cast them in these roles, and our funder, Latino Public Broadcasting, was behind the vision all the way, and I'm so grateful for that. And they said yes, and I felt so blessed, to be able to hold space in that way for the family. And then initially how this whole concept came to be is I said, I really want to make a queer quinceañera film. And what's my entry point? What's that going to be? And so I feel like the whole way this film, Punk is Punk, has been a genesis of healing for me and my family. When I told my sister about it, I also shared with her my own sexuality and sharing with her that I'm two-spirit and bisexual. And then she was like, well, as a matter of fact, so am I, right? So we kind of came out to each other as a result of this story. And then, the fact too that the family was able to also heal their own relationship to their own parents, their own relationship to each other. They were able to look deeply at the way that they communicate with each other. Yeah. It's just been all around a very healing experience to share our stories in this way.
I love how you said it's a genesis of healing. I think I love that it's what it gave you and for your close and loved ones and for this family. And I think as well, certainly for our audience, it's probably going to be a healing process for them and their loved ones and families too, for anyone that can relate or has gone through or even been educated from centering around the family that you had. I fell in love with the family you brought together. I so wanted to be the other child in the family, or just be part of that beautiful love circle they had together as a family. It was so wonderful to see on camera. They said yes, right? But you're okay, so we want you guys as the family, but here's some lines, or here's how did that work for you? How was that? Because of course they trusted you to take them on this journey.
We decided that we were going to meet every Tuesday for the weeks leading up to production, myself and the family, and that we were really going to work on craft and also get into the script. You know, I think that from the beginning, they really resonated with the script. And there were just a few lines here and there that we were like, you know what, let's workshop that again. Let's look at this again. What would your character say here? And so it really became a collaborative process in that regard, you know, being able to really have them bring their own voices into the film. And then also we were utilizing a lot of nonviolent communication practices. So I learned about nonviolent communication through a book called Decolonizing Nonviolent Communication by Menachi. And this has really informed my work, not only as an artist, but also as an organizer. So understanding that we all have needs, and our emotions, our feelings are the paintbrush that we use to tell our stories as artists. But a lot of times we don't know our needs, especially as somebody who has been socialized as a woman in this society. We tend to put our needs aside. I know I grew up really conditioned to put my needs aside. And so understanding, you know what, this emotion, this feeling is a clue of a need that's not being met. How can I address that need and communicate that need? Because a lot of times we get caught in the chaos. We get caught in the conflict. And how can we instead use conflict as something generative, something that can create connection and deepen our bonds?
Absolutely, and I think that's so nice that, you know, in this film you could see these lovely, you know, actors and people were putting their needs first and forward against what society told them to be in this context. And, you know, I think people don't realize just how rough it can be when we're trying to share our loved ones as queer people with people that we also love in our families, and overstepping things from, you know, from spirituality to faith to religion to just the toxicity that can sometimes come as well, particularly with you know, males and homophobia. How was that addressing, like, it's such a tough subject, it exists today, it's got better, but there's still a lot of work to do. And I thought the way that you brought that with progress was so special.
I mean, the progress that Don Jorge experiences in the film, that's the kind of progress I wish I could see in my own father. You know, oftentimes it's really hard to break through those barriers, those internalized patterns of homophobia and rejection. The silent treatment is weaponized to silence us, to silence queer people, to make us small, and to make us feel like our stories don't matter. And that's why I feel like being able to cast a queer family, being able to really bring that authenticity, to shoot this in the home that I grew up going into parties at with the Gomez family, another family, dear friends of mine, you know, that they would open their home and also work through their own limitations and barriers that their own relatives have also internalized, right? And for us to all show up at Outfest with our parents.
Amazing, right? I mean, amazing. This wasn't just any beautiful queer family. This was a punk family. Like, I was obsessed. Like, this was amazing. Like, talent in this family, so much style, so much charisma, so much energy. Like, what was that feeling like directing, you know, this punk family with such an influx of amazing music, and how was that experience?
It was beautiful to have that level of kinship with I mean, they're my chosen family, right? Those are my siblings, those are my nieces. So just to be able to hold space and for them to really love the process and for them to really see me in my own authenticity and in my own voice, and for me to be able to bring not only nonviolent communication, but also mindfulness to set.
Absolutely.
Every time that we took a take, I would say, all right, everybody, let's inhale. Let's exhale. Let's get present, right? We're artists. Like, this is what we work all year for, to show up in our craft.
Absolutely. And I really do love that, you know, you rightfully emphasizing, you know, nonviolent communication. There's so many ways in which we can communicate, and we don't realize how much we can give when we do it in a very, you know, in the right manner, in the right way, and in a careful and kind manner as well. And, you know, it shows on set. You can feel it in the energy of your film. I absolutely love the journey that the film took us on, but when it led to this, you know, celebration of the grandmother that passed away, and how they utilize her energy to, you know, really make the best of the given situation and the best of each other.
Yeah.
And then you led to this amazing party, which looked like the party of the century over there. Like, it looked amazing.
Yeah.
That was a real party, right?
Indeed.
Like,
Indeed.
So tell us about that, Jody, because it looked amazing.
Yaretzi's birthday, the actor that plays Matilde, it was her actual birthday.
Wow.
Her birthday lands on May 10th, and we shot it just a couple weeks later over Labor Day weekend. Mersha Gomez, whose parents' home we shot at, actually was our party planner, and she brought the taquero, the brincolin, you know, for the bounce house, and also brought a DJ, right? And of course, then the band played. It was an actual party. We got down. And people brought gifts. We had our cake.
Oh my goodness!
So it was a very joyful experience, and yeah, I ended up being the madrina of the party. So I sponsored it, thankfully, you know, because we were able to make this film.
Oh my goodness! Well, I mean, listen, that's quite I love, Kimberly, that you've brought in a real family. You've used your amazing talent in your craft as a creative artist to bridge them into this experience as well, and made it around them in a film. Like, that must have felt like a very unique experience overall, right?
It truly was.
Yeah.
I'm a documentarian, and so I think bringing that also, and really my style is building community and building community, and also telling stories from my community and my own lived experience. So it was all just very copacetic. And I feel like really at the end of the day, Ofe, the main character, is a cycle breaker. She recognizes her own tendency to project her expectations onto her daughter. Just the same way that her own parents projected their expectations onto her. I mean, in a different way, because she's alternative and she's punk. But she had to really catch herself and then break the cycle, which is so powerful.
That was a great lesson that you put in there. I love that you mentioned about the projection of like what, you know, our parents have done to her, and not doing the same thing for her own child, which I loved as well. I was in the audience yesterday, and we'll go more into about the actual particular event, but I was in the audience yesterday, and because I've watched your film and seen it on the big screen previously, I was just listening out for the audience, because I just knew that there are people that could relate, literally from your perspective. There are people that could understand. There are people that are being entertained and people being educated. And I was listening out for everybody. And I know your film is providing so much. And I'm just curious, for you going into this, like, what did you want your audience to take from your film?
Well, what I really received yesterday was an audience member came up to me and told me, thank you for sharing my community on the screen. Thank you for showing Indigenous, Latina, queer women in a loving home, in a powerful way. Thank you for that representation and bringing that authenticity. And that, to me, I was like, I need to just revel in this and take in this feedback, because she was raised by two queer women.
Wow.
And to get that feedback, right? And to know, like, this is a very LA story.
Yeah.
And this woman is telling me that she's grown up in the Valley, you know, to receive that kind of connection and oh, wow, that was really powerful for me.
And that's like, then you're like, that's why I made this film, right? You get that experience.
Yeah, I said, I made this for you.
Oh, it's just amazing. No, and it's so beautiful, because that's the response you only hope to have, and everything else. Listen, now, let's just enjoy the fact that this was a New Filmmakers LA event in partnership with the Academy, particularly this month celebrating Latinx storytellers. What was that experience like, being part of that? Oh,
it was so affirming. Hey, I mean, the fact that we were all 6 filmmakers sitting up there, Latino filmmakers, many immigrants, many first generation, second generation, you know, that was so affirming. Yeah, I mean, Hollywood isn't what we want it to be, but hell, we're here making art, you know, we're here celebrating each other, supporting each other, lifting each other up, you know. Thank you so much for this platform to New Filmmakers LA, and what a joy to be at the Academy and to be able to bring our collaborators out and our mentees. And I mean, that was just super rich and beautiful. It was electrifying. Like, it was like such an amazing experience as always, but we couldn't do it without you. So thank you for bringing the film to us. And just lastly, what is next, Kimberly? What is next? What can we look forward to next? Yeah, well, I run a nonprofit called Justice for My Sister, and we're currently with the Black Indigenous People of Color Sci-Fi Screenwriting Lab. Whoever would like to apply, I would encourage them to get their applications in. And we're constantly doing trainings for emerging artists of color. And then for myself as an artist, my next short is about a young woman who can see the future when she masturbates.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. You always take us on a journey. That's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And the nonprofit you run is amazing. I have a
Thank
bag.
you.
I have a tote bag that I walk around
Yes.
downtown with me.
Love it.
But for anyone that wants to know Justice for My Sister, can you share where to find more information about that?
Absolutely. JusticeForMySister.org.
Yeah.
And we're also on Instagram at
Yeah.
Justice4Sister.
Yeah, and they have amazing merchandise, and you should buy everything, okay? Listen, Kimberly, thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do for filmmaking, for bringing amazing collaborators together, and we can't wait to see many more of your films. So thank you, Punk is Punk. We appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Thank
Kimberly.
you.